Why in the world is the motorcycle community so picky? Like, I've never noticed this. I don't know. I guess I never noticed it until the R9. Until the R9 was announced. And holy crap, the amount of criticism and just weird statements people have been making. It's just so weird. Like, God, this reminds me of when the 2025 Panigale V4 was announced and so many people were like, oh my God, oh no, the single-sided swing arm. It's gone. The bike is terrible. I get it. I really do. But objectively, bikes haven't gotten worse. And you may argue that, like, well, the 600cc class is dying due to emissions and whatnot, but the companies are trying their best to circumvent that. Let's just talk about the R9, the elephant in the room. I just don't get why people are complaining about it. Literally, there's so many good things about it, right? It has the CP3 engine from the MT-09, which makes like 117 horsepower and like 60, 70 pounds of torque, something like that. Although the CP3 engine in the R9 is untouched, it's still a great engine. Basically makes the same amount of horsepower as the R6, maybe 1 or 2 horsepower deviation, but significantly more torque. It's better in the mid-range because the R6's biggest criticism is the fact that it is so gutless down low. Literally down low, and even in the mid-range, it's really only there once you rev it up very high, which is why it's a great track bike. But for your average person, right, not everyone goes to the track. It's a shit bike unless you like to go on the freeways constantly and go over legal speed limits, which for most of the world it's kind of hard to do. Someone made a good criticism here that they said like the high power band isn't for me, and it's not for a lot of people, to be honest. Unless you're an adrenaline junkie, like the high power band is the dumbest thing to have, and you're probably gonna end up selling your R6, right? I think that's one of the reasons why people do it. Or they spend even more money just so the mid-range could be better, right? By tuning it and putting a full system exhaust. That's the reason why the R6 kind of fizzled out and died out. And I just don't get why people are complaining so much about how, like, oh, the R9 will never replace the R6. Oh, the R9 doesn't compare to the R6. And I'm like, what kind of dumb statement is that? And you know who made that statement? That one dude. The R9 doesn't even compare to this bike, the R6. What the hell are you on about? Like, seriously, what kind of statement is that? That statement alone takes away all credibility this guy has about when talking about bikes. Like, I get it, it's your opinion, but objectively, saying that the R9 doesn't compare to the R6 is just kind of stupid. One, R9 makes about the same horsepower and more torque. 2, R6, all of its power is on the top. Like, these bikes could definitely compete with each other. I don't understand what that statement even was about. Honestly, this whole thing is just so dumb, and I know I'm ranting, but still, it's just... How can you make such a weird, redundant statement like that? Literally, even in the comments, he got so much plaque for it. People are saying like, bro, you don't know anything about bikes. Like, come on, man. And, you know, he's not the only one. So I'm not just fucking targeting him, right? You have this one right here from Raven Rides. I don't know who he is. Very nice video of the R9. Such a sexy bike, right? So, oh, what's the criticism? And the criticism is the R6 did not die for this to live. Yamaha didn't see the point of selling this bike, like manufacturing it and all that and trying to make it fit within the emission laws. Yeah, Yamaha didn't think it was worth it, and it's for a good reason. Yamaha barely made any sales on the R6 within its last few years. And I'm talking about around the world, not just here in the US, right? In Europe, literally. Sadly, I don't have the numbers. I tried my best to search up for them, but it's just nowhere to be found. But articles mention that the Yamaha R6 didn't make that much sales. And that's why, unfortunately, they had to kill it. What can you do? I mean, like, the fucking R6 compared to all the other 600s is the absolute worst in terms of, like, local and city riding. It's only nice if you're, like, in the twisties or the highway, right? Just because of that gutless mid-range. Like, I just don't get it. I think so many people are just fucking glazing the R6. They're like such dick riders. It's absolutely insane. If you really loved motorcycles, you would be fine with this R9, to be honest. And it just tells me that so many people really don't know much about motorcycles, man. Like, you guys really don't have a passion for it as much as you think you do. Yeah, like, look at all these comments, right? Definitely not a good trade for the R6. Why not? Like, just objectively, why not? It just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Yeah, look at this dumb comment. R9 is replacing the R1, not the R6. Says who? Where the fuck did you guys even get that from? I see this type of comment like everywhere. Like, it's just so sad. I'm not trying to act like I'm superior or anything. Is it that hard to like do your research? Like, oh my God, even worse, they're replacing the R1. Like, where are you guys getting this? Like, I get it, the R1 is getting gutted in Europe, but like they're still selling it in, elsewhere, right? And even if like they stop selling it, the R9 is not gonna be a replacement for the R1. They're probably gonna come up with something different, right? Oh my goodness. For example, like the rumored V4 R1, if the R1 ever gets destroyed or ever gets gutted. So there's that. The R9 is supposed to be a different but good replacement for the R6. You know, I'm not saying I love all bikes, right? Don't get that twisted, but the reality of it is like, I appreciate a lot of bikes. I could see its strengths and weaknesses. Like, for example, with KTM, I love their bikes, but oh my God, all they do is do dumb shit, like not fixing the camshaft issues that the 790 and the 890 Duke has, or charging like DLCs almost for like to unlock the extra electronics. Like, it's such a dumb sales plan. I'm not trying to knock anyone for having opinions about the R9. It's just like, I just don't see what is there to complain about. I just watched, literally within a few months after the R9 releasing, people are gonna start talking the hell out of it, start glazing it, being like, it's such a great bike. Same with the Panigale V4. Like, you guys are so weird, man. So weird.